There we go. All right. So what I'm doing, Eugene, I was apologizing to everybody because I told them that I'm really replicating the seminar I did on the bourbon tasting, but there's no bourbon. I can't give it through the phone, and I don't know. It's not that late, but I'm about ready for a bourbon right now. Anybody else like a little overwhelmed with their calendars right now?
Yeah.
I just scheduled a meeting for December 21st, realizing that's so close to December 25th.
I know. It's like, what's really happening? It's really, really crazy. So I want to take notes. Let me get a notepad here. You think I just had a really cool phone call with someone and I got very distracted. So there we go. I want to write down first before we get started so that I can coach it. What is the thing that is stressing you out the most, if you'd like to share?
I will tell you, for me right now, being it's December and I'm still prospecting for my business, it's so busy and just there's so much going on right now.
Anybody else? What is your stressor?
Well, for me, it's just balancing work with upcoming holiday travel and family obligations, and it's just a lot in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, plus work, right?
Yes.
Yeah, Kristen was supposed to join you and meet you, Eugene, but she had to stay at work. So, and Jody, what is it for you if you're able to be on live?
For me, it's really all the temptations of food.
Oh, so it's that
stresses
food part
me out.
that yeah. Awesome. We'll get to that. Yeah, I am not feeling really good, and I know it's because I'm not eating my normal food.
Mm-hmm.
Really,
exactly.
And I think it's like that kind of thing that I can get away with food that's like high flour, but I'm getting more and more sensitive to those. And just in terms of how I feel, not gaining weight necessarily. And I'm like, oh yeah, you've had a football game, a cocktail party, but like the frequency of things right now is so high that I think that's what's, I know I'm physically not feeling better as good. And I think that affects our stress biologically as well. It's not just our mind.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So I think it's a time, and this is a good time. Like when you think it's the first week of December, it's only the first week of December. I want you all to calm down. It's just the first week of December. But you see,
it's going to go by so quickly.
It does. But it's those thoughts that are making it feel worse than it is. And then I think it shuts us down. Like that fear, like I'm having that too, Eugene, where I'm like, oh, you only have 2 weeks to get Christmas shopping done because you really want to ship presents like in 10 days, really. I really have only this weekend. And it's like, oh my God, it's already. So what I want to share, and we'll talk business stress. We're going to talk stress about trying to take care of ourselves even when it's like really, challenging. But stress itself is very heavy. And the reason, as a weight loss coach first and now more a broad wellness executive coach, it is the biggest disruptor of wellness. If I could coach, probably, I bet half of my conversations are around this and how it affects eating and moving and all the things that take care of ourselves. Time for yoga, time for meditation, time to get quiet. I am realizing I've been out a lot. And when I don't regenerate and just have quiet time, it might even be Netflix time, I am just distracted. Like my day today was total distraction. Anybody else? And I want to be really focused and productive. So I know it's like this low level. For me right now, it's a little low level stress, but it does disrupt our wellness and affects both our physical and mental health. Cortisol levels are real. Like when we allow our brain to go to a place where we are constantly worried and feeling pressure, we are putting our body into fight or flight. And that is like nurses. If you ever look at a nursing floor, most of the women will be overweight by the time they've been nursing 2 or 3 years.
That's why I've lost so much weight now that I don't work in a hospital, even though I'm not a nurse, because there was food everywhere every day and it was almost always sugar.
Yeah, because they're not sleeping well. and they are, burning at both ends. And one way to feel better in the middle of that, and I deal it with that, the afternoon sugar thing is a real thing. That's why we're not going to Starbucks for coffee. Let's get real. Most people are going to Starbucks for sugar. Right? Am I right?
yes.
Like they're loaded, all the drinks, right? But all the drinks, like I have to be really careful for it to not be a sugar drink versus a cup of coffee with a little milk in it, right? Because 99% of the menu is sugar.
I'm one who goes there for coffee and everybody else is getting all those fancy drinks that take forever. I just want a cup of coffee.
Yeah, can you just pour me a cup of Joe? Right? So yeah, you're not the target market, I don't think.
They don't mind me waiting in line.
I love it. But what I want to share with you today, and this will be a light touch because we don't have a ton of time, I want to offer each and every one of you a stress. I have most of your emails. If I don't send it today, because I have somebody on, so I have Jody, Eugene, Kristen, and one more, maybe Lynn. I'm hoping Lynn's on here. Where we can follow up and do this thought work that I'm going to share with you today personally. Like you give me your biggest stress trigger for you, and we walk through in about 20 minutes, a little more personalized approach. But we have enough time. There's not 25 people on here, and we'll have plenty of time to process that enough today. I'm hoping it'll be valuable to you. Now, I lost someone. Gosh, I hope it wasn't. Jody, are you still here?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, good. Okay, it was our mystery person. We'll see. Stress management. I want you to think about it this way. Stress management is thought management. Stress management is thought management. There are beautiful ways when I've had a really big day, like I am feeling that distraction, and I'm glad I'm networking in an hour or two because I know there's going to be wine. But I'm probably not going to have the wine, which is kind of funny because I've chosen not to do that as much. But I am looking forward to the letdown, right? So there are ways that we treat ourselves with stress after a hot bath, a big walk, working out really hard. There are things that we all do, walk our dog, kind of to let go, cuddle with our dog, watch Netflix, that we do after. What I'm entertaining is stress management can come before. When we notice that we're stressed, we're reacting really strongly to something, that we can start interrupting the thought that is creating this, right? So I want as many as want to give examples. I am going to do thought models with you on what is stressing you out. Let's see. So busy, so much. Eugene, are you ready to be my guinea pig today?
Yes.
Okay. So
I will tell you what's stressing me out right now. I've set very high goals for what I want for my training courses in January that I have so much work to do in December. It's weighing on me so much that like the last 2 nights I've slept maybe 3 or 4 hours.
Yeah. So you really see it affecting you. And this is so real. This is I don't want to discount the true experience of this because it is real, people. And so we're not sleeping, or we're overeating or over drinking. And it really, then it causes, for me, the example is the glass of wine at night causes the the 3 cups of coffee in the morning, when actually my body does better with tea, a little gentle nudge, not the big nudge. And then, but if I've had wine the night before to kind of calm down, then I need the coffee in the morning, and then I'm actually jitterier and sometimes don't feel as great, and then I'm not getting as much done. So it's a vicious cycle, and it really takes us off our game. So when you're talking about so much work, tell me more. What are you most concerned about happening? Why is that stressing you out so much? Tell me a little more.
Well, my goal, let's say I got class starting in January. My goal is to get 15 people in that class. Yeah. I just ended a course, so now I'm starting a new one. So here I am in December, and I've got a lot of leads. I've got some prospects, but it's December. Yeah. There's so much going on in December. People focusing on holidays, people focusing on what they're going to do to close out the month, and I'm focusing on filling
your business
in January.
Yeah. So there's a thought in there that is creating, I've been working on this in my own mastermind, that all of us are kind of sitting back being frustrated because it's December. So what are you making December mean? I want it in your words. I know what I make it mean. Nobody's going to buy. Tell me more. Like, get in your words, what is December meaning? The way that you feel like people might be reacting to you when you most want to fill this class.
I don't know how to put that in words. I mean, December for me, right, what it means to me right now, it's all business.
Yeah.
And that could be part of it because it's the first year I'm in a new career, and December now I'm not having that holiday time. For me, it's all business. It's consumed with business.
Yeah. So why? Yeah. So you're good at all business. I know you.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Why is that frustrating you in December? What are it's like, I wish I was, is it?
I wish I can focus on Christmas shopping. My wife's going to take care of all that. I wish I can focus on stuff. I have less time with my son for his school than I did leading into December.
Yeah. So work. Yeah. We're going to keep niggling on this, on what a thought is, but the feeling is stress. And it's that, like, I'm not getting enough time with my family. Would that be?
I mean, I have a plan. I'm very organized. I know exactly what I need to do. I'm executing it. But the last 2 nights, I don't know why, I just couldn't sleep. I just couldn't turn off my brain because I was planning out what I was going to do the next day and then the next day. So I'm not putting any emphasis on home life right now.
Right. So is it a little bit, I'm having to work all the time? I'm concerned I won't fill the class. What?
Yeah, I'm not one that does homework, so to speak. All through my academic career, even in college, I was able to knock everything out when I was in class. Yeah, and still do very well. And now I'm finding, like, the last 2 nights I've had to go outside of the house because we're temporary housing. It's another story, and go do some work, which I never had to do before. I don't like doing that. So here I am till 8 o'clock at night writing up lists.
Yeah. How does this, I have to work too many hours.
Yeah.
And even just that, but I think there's some other, like, tandem thoughts going on here too, that, like, I have to work too many hours. I'm missing time with my family. I'm concerned this isn't going to go through. Most stress reactions are from a cluster of thoughts, but it's the ugliest one that is causing the most stress. The no sleep is usually from the ugliest one. What is the worst thing that's going to happen?
The worst thing that could happen is I get no clients.
Right. So I think there's some, like, I'm going to give up all this time with my family and it may not work out.
Yeah.
Does that resonate as the thought or belief that's kind of running around in your mind?
Yeah, that's tangible. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah. This might not be worth it, right? And here it's like, we do this cost and balance. It'd really be worth it if you knew you were going to fill that class.
Right. All for naught, right?
Right. All for naught. Yeah. Could this be all for naught? Yeah. Anybody with sales energy is going to understand that. So that's stress. So how do you react when you feel that stress? When you think the thought, I have to work so many hours and it might not work out.
It's a good question. I think the more thoughts start entering and it starts getting a little jumbled and confused.
Yeah. Yeah.
I lose a little bit of that focus.
Yes. That's what I was getting at.
Mm-hmm.
And then it kind of compounds it. And this, what we call in my world, is a thought cycle. That it starts with this one really trigger that for you might be the ugliest thought that, like, trigger, that trigger happens and it just keeps compounding and it even adds more. Just like a lot of times when we create a stress energy level, I want you all to hear this because I know both you women aren't like salespeople, unless you are, Kristen. Are you a salesperson?
Not really. I'm starting and I have 2 jobs. One of my jobs is now sort of sales. I'm trying to get my feet wet in travel.
So that you can relate with some of this and anything that we are concerned about, no matter what in our work, the minute we think one thought that makes us feel that way. And I'm going to have, if you could mute Jody, I think it might be echoing from your phone. Can you mute?
Oh, I'm on mute.
Okay. All right. It's showing that you're not. I'm going to mute you here, and then I want you to raise your voice and chat. Nope, it's not. I don't know why it's doing this. Okay. Well, we're just going to deal with it. But our body, and I'm going to do the thought work on this, Eugene, but what's interesting, and all of us need to understand this, the minute we think an ugly, fearful thought or a stressful thought, our energy, our brain tries to like, wait, why are you so freaked out? Oh yeah, it's because of this. Oh, it's because of this. Oh, it's because of this. Oh, it's because of this. And our brain like joins that really stressful, icky place. And there's a cascade.
Yeah.
And then we're stuck in it because we just like, if there's one we'll manage and get away with, and then when there's another and another. But there's always a choice to think this first thought that I have to work too many hours and it's not going to work out. I think it's the deeper fear that it's not going to work out.
Yeah.
Because it's worth it for you to work the extra hours or you wouldn't be doing it.
Yeah.
Right? And that can be you can feel good about that choice or you can feel bad about that choice. That's up to you.
Yeah.
So it's really giving yourself like kind of stopping this trigger. And again, like I talked about this a lot in the bourbon thing. Our brain works so fast that it will be, we think it's work, we think it's working long hours, we think it's filling the class, we think it's getting all the shopping done, we think it's all the food temptations, and we're gonna, like we've lost all this weight, now we're gonna gain it all back. Guess what? That happens from here so quickly that we don't realize that we've thought a thought because of what's going on in the world. That there's something in between, and that's what we can interrupt is this thought. So I like, and I'm going to try something, Kristen, I'm going to mute you, but I want you to speak up on the chat. I'll keep the chat open. See if that stops our echo. That stopped our echo. So Kristen, do you see the chat? And use chat if you want to speak up and I'll unmute you. But for some reason on that, it was echoing. I don't want that to be on the so do you see, Eugene, how that, like this is an option even though it feels like so real?
Oh, absolutely.
And this is like not, we can't like solve this by being Pollyanna. Like I could tell you, I'm like, Eugene, if you work all those hours, you're going to get, oh my God, you're doing this so well, you're going to get 12.
Yeah.
But literally sometimes that kind of hopeful thinking, it's like, is what kind of heals it.
Yeah.
But we want to be careful about interrupting and shifting to a thought that's very believable. Yeah. And some of it might be trusting that working just daytime hours the way you've always worked might be enough.
Yeah. Yeah.
And getting enough rest might make you clearer headed, but the worry is making you think if I work longer hours, I'm more likely to get filled up. It might be a lie.
Yeah.
Showing up with really confident energy right now might be what, which comes from, I have everything I need. What's believable to you, because you're not new at this and you are starting to fill your classes. What's a believable thought that might create a little more calm or not as much stress?
Well, it's funny you bring that up. I journal every day. And I one is, I'll put in here, I'll give myself affirmations. Like I'm actually developing the sandwich system and helping people and prospecting what I have to do. So I've been doing that for the last couple of weeks. It's new and it's helped. But I think also for me, Diana, one of the things that's changed that I haven't been able to do is I used to get up early in the morning and go for a run. I haven't been able to do that. That may be one of the biggest disruptors I have.
Yeah. And how could, maybe not all or none, but planning at least a couple of days a week, doing that to discharge some of this? Because we can be the best thought managers. I'm a coach. Like I should know how to dial down my stress all the time, but sometimes just getting rid of it during a workout, and Kristen and I work out together. She knows, we both walk in there. I'm going to unmute you now, Kristen.
I was just there last night.
Yes, and I have not been there all week because I'm eating and drinking with all my friends at all the networking events. It's crazy. And I love being really fit during the winter, and I know nothing better to do when it's dark on 6 o'clock than hit a gym where at least I know people there, right? So Eugene, what's preventing you from running in the morning, a couple mornings?
Yeah, I'll wait. Like this morning, I set my alarm at 4:20, which is normal. And normally I get up that time anyway. And just that motivation. For 5 years, I would get up and run for 5 years. The last 2.5 weeks, I've not been able to do. I've only been out twice. And I think that's kind of really.
And what is the why for you? Why haven't you?
Just finding that motivation. It's just,
Yeah.
I lost that discipline.
Yeah.
And
I think it's sneakier than that.
Well, I told myself for years, if I stop, the hardest thing is to do is to get back.
But that thought itself is creating a lot more resistance. Yeah. I have a sneaky feeling that there is a part of you that thinks that the trade-off of the run is going to give you more time to work on your business right now.
Okay.
And so noodle that. Like when you're journaling, I'd love for you to just look at what is the payoff of not running.
Yeah,
because I think then when work right now and the growth of this business, I see this so often in new business owners, that is where you really, the trade-off of wellness that has worked for you for years, all of a sudden we're like, I don't know why, and I can't even get motivated anymore, but it's because something else in your brain is telling you it's a bigger priority.
Yeah, and that's when I used to clear my head.
Yeah, and you're seeing the value of it, and if it's something that your body and your fortitude, like kind of who you are, is really used to, you're going to suffer probably more than someone that doesn't work out at all.
Yeah, I think that's the crust of it right there.
Yeah. And it's funny that working out for me has not, I hate when I can't get there.
Yeah.
And the minute I get a free night, I'll be there. I mean, that's just how it works for me. But but I've had other things, believe me. The way I'm eating and the way I'm taking care of myself, I'm not investing any time in making sure there's great food around the house.
Yeah, I think that's it. Because I used to, even the cold was not an issue.
Yeah.
No matter how cold it was, I would still, because I like to go outside.
Right. So do you see how we think the stress is the disruptor, but it's that thought, if I work harder and longer and trade off the run time, I'll make more money. And I actually think it's the other way around.
Yeah, I agree.
Because what's the payoff for you if you felt better? So I think it's like your brain you just tell your brain he's lying.
Yeah.
When it's like, oh, stay back. If you work extra hours, it's going to be better. Play around with that and just say, oh, no, I know different. I'm a rock star when I'm running all the time.
Another thing I think is I'm using as a crutch is I track my steps. Fitbit, and I'm walking a lot because my office is a Lenox Mall, so I'll just go around. So I'm still getting in, 12 to 13 thousand steps, but I'm not having that run in the morning. That's the piece. So I think I've used steps as a crutch. That run was more than just.
Well, it's not enough for you, and I think even that thought is negative. Like Jody's going to understand because she's been in a lot of forums with me where we talk about that self-critical thinking.
Yeah.
And that, like, even I'm using it as a crutch. I may not close, I may not fill this class. All those are creating unnecessary negative emotion. Yeah, but beating yourself up that you're like, oh, I'm using the walking as a crutch. No, it's great you're walking all those steps, but what are you seeing for you when you look at your wellness package? Like when you think of what works for Eugene, your body is asking you to go back to, make sure you get a run.
I think you're right.
Yeah. And your body, you may not feel like it and you may not be motivated, but I think putting a couple of if you had 2 client meetings at 5:30 in the morning when you're running or whenever that is, you would never miss them. And that's where we put ourselves as a priority. We put ourselves at the bottom of the stack.
Yeah. Okay.
And so that's what I sense is going on there.
Cool.
Ooh, good stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. I want to, Jody, do you have anything? And then I'll unmute Kristen and let her talk too.
No, this has been very helpful.
Okay, great. And Kristen, I unmuted you, even if it's echoey, I don't care. Is there anything specifically that I could help you with on this, the way I did with Eugene?
Well, I don't sleep well when I'm overstressed. I do make it to the gym because that's one of my favorite things to do.
Yeah,
and it's just fun. And so I make sure to make that happen. Otherwise, I get very wound up and I sleep even less.
Yeah.
So, I don't have a problem with eating poorly, or for me, it's just not getting enough sleep. And my mind my body is tired, it's exhausted, but my mind is like a 3-ring circus.
Yes, all of our minds are really a 3-ring circus. Do you realize that?
Yeah. And I thought the other night, is it actually possible to be too tired to sleep? But I think being mentally kept awake is different than physical tiredness.
Yeah, I think, your brain can't turn off. So what do you think that there is like you said, you have 2 jobs, you're doing something new with sales.
Yeah.
What is going on? Like when you think of the predominant emotion right now, especially in your bedtime, the kind of predominant thing you're feeling right now, what is that?
Well, in the job that I'm doing on the side, I'm relying on someone else to help me get the tools I need to do it. And that person has not been very accessible. They haven't been very responsive. I know that they're very busy, but it's stressing me out because I feel like I'm not getting the tools I need to put in to be successful at that yet.
Yeah. I'm not getting what I need. Okay, that's one thought. I think there's something uglier in there. What is your biggest fear around this?
It's not really a fear, it's a frustration. I've put a lot of work into rebuilding a website. It's my passion. I want to be successful. I can be successful if I'm given the proper tools to be successful.
Yeah. And so it's really, not getting what I need, which is valid. Don't have the tools. And I'm writing a podcast right now about turning frustration to confidence, and mostly around weight loss or wellness.
Mm-hmm.
It applies to everything right here. And what's coming up in my own kind of like how to explain it is frustration usually comes from us feeling out of control or feeling like a victim.
True. Yes.
Right? And it feels helpless, it sounds like.
Yes.
Yeah. So
I don't think I feel like a victim. I do feel a little bit out of control.
Yeah. And so it's out of control. And I don't mean that heavy victim, the world's against me, but it is that feeling of almost like being trapped a little bit, that you don't have any way to solve the problem of getting this person to call you back and things like that.
Right. And I can't control other people, obviously.
Right. So that frustration, I don't have the tools I need, I'm not getting what I need, and you feel that frustration, how do you react?
I just feel very out of sorts. I can't sleep. I want to push harder for it, but I know that doesn't work either.
Right. And it's like pushing against a brick wall.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. And that they're pushing and I'm not saying they're like, you don't need this person to get moving. But what it happens is when we think a thought like this, like I don't have the tools, I'm not getting what I need from this person, our brain cannot get creative about any other solutions in the meantime.
Exactly. And I kind of get stuck.
Yes.
And I get stuck on the one problem, and it starts to consume me and consumes my mind.
Yes. You're human.
Yes.
I just good news. We're all human. Does it sound like the cycle that Eugene was describing? It's like once you're in it, there's not a way out.
Yes, exactly.
But there is that interrupting. I think it's a little bit of feeling like the helpless feeling, the frustrate, like I can't solve this. I think that it's not a full lie. I want to tell you, I understand, I'm compassionate that this is the person that's supposed to, be that next step forward. But for you to be able to do all the things you can do and maybe get more creative at the solution and not feel so stuck and frustrated will be from thinking a little differently. Instead of looking at what you don't have, it might be simply asking your brain to go, but what can I do now? But what can I do now? How does that feel?
Yes. There's the wall that I hit again because I don't have the information to go further.
Yeah. So is there something out, another way you could spend your time peacefully for your own sake waiting instead of pushing harder?
Yes, I mean, I do other things. Like I'll go work out, I'll focus on my other job. I mean, there are plenty of things to do, but that's always kind of in the back of my mind, just nagging at me.
Right, right. But if you can't control it, this might be a place to practice really surrendering to the lack of control.
Mm-hmm.
But looking at any other ways that you can get some of the information and some get, this is where when we ask our brain really good questions, is there another way? Like, is there another way? It's almost brainstorming with yourself. Is there another way? Anything that opens the opportunities in your head instead of the closed door, this one person is going to solve everything. Is there another way? Even is there another way to communicate with this person?
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Do you see what I'm saying? And but our brain will we get into this frustrated place and we just push harder in one single way instead of being able, because when our brain is in a negative emotion, it's narrow. When we are feeling enthused and excited or at least even curious, like for you right now, curious might be as good as you can move from frustrated, right? And that's okay because curious can help your brain decide how to spend your time differently, decide maybe some other ways to do it. Why am I beating my head against the wall?
Mm-hmm.
But it makes it feel like, even when I talk about this is why I always love taking time in personal conversation, because it makes it sound like I don't get what's going on for you, right?
Yeah.
But there is this place that our brain will get very in a pattern in the same thought cycle that if he doesn't answer my calls and I don't get the tools and I can't move forward, that then it's like you pound and try to break through that way when there might be some ways around this.
Mm-hmm.
Is there another way to work with him or her? Is there another way to do this? Is there another source to get to?
Yes, I'm trying.
Yeah, and I know you sound like a very resourceful woman.
Yes, I am. But then his frustration grows, and his frustration grows with me in trying different ways to communicate.
You might have to have a little come to Jesus talk.
Yeah, I'm trying to do that.
Yeah. And so, but trying it with frustration versus getting a little clarity for you that it's natural for you to be feeling this frustration. He might, but he has his own table and own set of thoughts. Like he has his own thing that he's bringing to that conversation. When we get clearer and more creative on our side, we can show up at that conversation with more openness, and then we get more from that other person.
Right. No, I understand that. And I've tried to present it as, I'm trying to succeed for you.
Yeah.
And for our clients.
Right.
So I'm not making it all about me.
I know that. I really sense that. But I just want to show you where it is. Having him change is not going to give you relief. Having a way of thinking differently about the situation for your own sake is what will continue to give you more relief.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And it's like, sometimes it's like, well, he's not going to answer my email. If that is truly the only way to move forward, your phone goes with you, you'll know when he answers. And it's like, well, I'm going to go take a walk.
Right.
I'm not going to let his lack of being able to do this move forward. It's all going to work out. It's all going to be okay. But asking better questions is one of the ways to interrupt those negative thought patterns. Is there just something else I could do? Is there another way I can handle this? Am I going to need to get brave and have a full conversation?
Yes.
Yeah. But when we get narrow, negative emotion brings very narrow, or almost like we sit back from what's going on, and then it creates that result.
Right.
I really, even the thought, I really need sleep, might be keeping you up.
I think it does.
It does. Damn it. Because our brain, this is how I'm going to close this call. Our brain loves to be right. So if you keep thinking you don't have the tools, your brain's going to go, you don't have the tools. You can't do anything.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, I have a few tools, I'm going to get moving is different. Like this little tweak in the way you're thinking about it will help you get moving. Again, with sleep, I don't have enough sleep. It's like, I'll get to sleep eventually. Like retrain the brain. I'll get to sleep eventually. Help your body to relax with more like a thought that isn't creating what you most don't want. But the brain loves to be right, and it does it very fast.
Yes.
I'm stressed out. You'll be stressed out.
Yep, you're right.
It's so weird. It's so weird. But, and I don't want to sound incompassionate because it's very, they feel all of these things that are coming at us right now feel very, very true. But what's true is the way that we think and react is what's giving us the emotion, not the circumstance. Every time it's the thought that is triggered from the circumstance of this person, the way you're doing this training, the way you're growing but it's the thought around it. I don't have the tools. I can't do my job. I won't be successful eventually. If I can't get moving, this is not going to, and so it just creates a big ball of frustration instead of growth and movement. Now your brain's right. Yep, you can't do that job,
So Dana, the C and the T are circumstances, thoughts, is that right?
Yeah, circumstance, thought. I think I wrote it on this one. This is a fun one. So this is yours. And I can run you through these, and I'm going to send you guys all a worksheet on it. It's the circumstance is a fact. The thought is our reaction to that fact. And then when we're talking about stress, it's a reaction to the trigger. He doesn't return my phone calls, Kristen. And then I don't have enough tools. He doesn't return my phone calls. The guy's really busy. I'll do it another way. Could be another way. The feeling is the reaction, the vibration in our body, positive, neutral, or negative, that reacts to that thought. Then the action is what comes out of that emotion. So for you, Kristen, when you're stressed, you don't sleep. And again, remember I talked about Eugene talking about this whole family of thoughts was starting to happen. And I wonder if that's what's happening to you when you're going to sleep, that you're already stressed and frustrated. And so every thought about being stressed and frustrated is joining in on the conversation.
Yes.
So the first one of really that I don't have enough, I really don't have the tools I need. You have a lot of tools. I would look at the things you do have that you can take action on. Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So look at what you can do, especially near the end of the day. Really calm your body down by moving into this space of not hitting a brick wall, but what can I do? And that will create a much different feeling, which creates different action. We get creative. Positive emotions create really great stuff. Negative emotions shut us down and make us shrink back. Then we get the result. Our mind likes to be right. So if we think we can't get a solution, we can't solve it, we won't. If I'm worried that if I work all these extra hours, if I work extra hours and I'm not going to get any clients, you won't get any clients.
Right.
And it's always easier to see someone else's example, and that's why I'm really thankful that both of you shared your examples.
Yes, this has been very helpful.
Good.
I love the psychology of it all.
Pardon?
I love the psychology of it all.
Yeah, it is just brilliant. And the my podcast does my next 5 laying down mindset now, and it is I'm always focused in this lens of weight loss, but you are going to be able to apply everything that is going on in your life. And I'm doing 4 or 5 sets on certain particular emotional states and moving it to a more positive one, a productive one. And then I am going to dial down on the thought model, each part, the thoughts, the feelings, every facet of it so you can understand it. So if you guys like it, I'm going to be drilling down on the podcast for it. All right. Any other questions at all? Jody, do you have anything you want to share?
Oh no, I'm good.
You're good.
I enjoy listening.
I love it. You are a good learner. I know that about Jody and I we've walked life. She has I love that I see your Atlanta number on there and I forget, but you're in Texas now, right?
Correct. Yes.
We met at a Weight Watchers meeting at the Federal Building in downtown many years ago.
Yep.
I've been friends, and thanks for being a follower, girl. I love it. Kristen, Eugene, any final questions that are kind of leaving you feeling like you're hanging? I want you to be able to kind of walk off with kind of actionable ways to kind of just interrupt that thought.
Go ahead, Eugene.
I was going to say, it's good stuff. I appreciate it.
Okay, great. And Kristen, you're good?
I think I'm good.
Okay, and if you want a follow-up session to really get this very specific, especially you're going to kind of be fine for a while and the same stuff kind of comes up.
Right.
Feel free to get on my website and get a Let's Chat call with me, both of you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Diana. Hope
All
to
right,
see
love you guys.
Thank you.
This was fun. Thank you. All
Nice
right.
meeting you virtually,
Have a
everybody.
great day, you guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Jody. Bye.